Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Songs. Today we're going to tackle Canadian hard rock trio Triumph. It's a band that you guys have asked for quite a bit over the last week or two, and I dig them quite a bit, always have. In fact, we did a very cool History of Triumph show back, a few months back. So just go over to our playlist page, check out our History of playlist, and you'll see the History of Triumph there. Check that out. It was a lot of fun to do, and I'm really looking forward to telling you my top 10 songs here. I'm pretty happy with my list that I put together. There were a couple that I really wanted to squeeze in that I couldn't, but don't worry, they're part of my honorable mentions. So let's dig right in. We're going to start at number 10. So we're going to go back to their second album, the title track, Rock and Roll Machine. The song I always really dug, a really kind of raucous hard rocker with a very, very cool Rick Emmett guitar solo right there, smack in the middle. An old favorite of mine back when I first started getting into Triumph. I still dig it to this day, so that comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9, also kind of an epic long tune, because Rock and Roll Machine is pretty long also, from their very, very first album. A song that really showcases how, like, early in their career, the band also touched on a bit of prog rock, fitted into their kind of really energetic hard rock style. It's the Blinding Light Show / Moonchild, a very, very cool song that I always really dug quite a bit. Again, it shows kind of the band's little proggy side there. Coming in at number 8, from their Progressions of Power Hour, a barnstorming hard rock tune that kicks off the album, I Live for the Weekend. I always really enjoyed this song. I think, it's because, besides the fact that it's just kind of like a raging hard rocker, like party anthem, it's got some killer Rick Emmett lead guitar solos smattered all throughout that song. I always really dug that tune a lot. That's number 8. Coming in at number 7, from the Never Surrender album, A World of Fantasy, which was one of their hits from that album, and I always dug it quite a bit. It's kind of got this like real mysterious, again, kind of proggy element going through it, but it's also a really cool, like, melodic hard rocker. Always really dug World of Fantasy. Coming in at number 6, how about going back to the Just a Game album, Hold On. One of their, for me, their really endearing hits, a great Rick Emmett vehicle for his really wonderful vocals, acoustic guitar work. Just a really, really great song, memorable song, melodic song that I think, most Triumph fans really hold pretty dear. Hold on pretty dear to them. Next up, number 5, probably the band's biggest hit ever, from the Allied Forces album. Of course, we're talking about Magic Power, the magical Magic Power. I remember the first time I heard that song on the radio, I was like, oh my God. It's like, I knew it was Triumph because I was already familiar with them, but that was, I think, the song that really put Triumph completely on the map to the masses. They had a bit of FM radio play with another song we're going to talk about in a minute, but I think the Magic Power song is what really made Triumph like a much bigger band here, specifically in the U.S. I know they were already fairly big in Canada. So that comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, one of the hits from the Thunder 7 album, and a song that I always really liked. And again, I think it's got kind of the same qualities that like Magic Power and Hold On have, just those really addicting vocal melodies and hooks. Talking about Follow Your Heart. Always really liked Follow Your Heart a lot. Because I remember around the Thunder 7 time, I was going to see Triumph live pretty regularly. And I remember when they played that, I was just kind of like, this is awesome. Awesome stuff. All right, let's go to the top 3 here. So my number 3 is, we're going to go back to that song that I think first really kind of introduced Triumph to the U.S. audiences, and that, of course, was Lay It On the Line. Lay It On the Line was my first song that I ever heard on FM rock radio from Triumph, and I remember really digging that quite a bit. That made me go out and get the Just a Game album, and that kind of got you kind of primed and, ready for what was to come. And I think, the Progressions of Power album was not quite that album, obviously. Just a Game was, I think, a stronger album, but then Allied Forces came out, and that was kind of blew everything up. Never to look back again, right? So my number 2, actually my number 1 and 2 both come from that same album. Number 2 is the title track, Allied Forces, which I think is always like a great barnstorming heavy rock tune with kick-ass mean riffs and great drumming. Again, lots of hooks, great guitar solos. Gilmore just killing it on vocals. I think another thing that was really great about this band is that they had the two singers, drummer Gilmore and guitarist Rick Emmett, who both sounded completely different, and the flavors of the songs that they sang were pretty different. So you had like so much variety on all these Triumph albums, which I think made them a really kind of great and intriguing band to listen to. So coming in at number one, I already kind of pretty much gave it away. It's from the same album. Of course, we're talking about Fight the Good Fight, which has always been my favorite Triumph song going back to the early 80s. And here we are in 2018, and it's still my favorite Triumph song. It's just a great one. It's kind of like a little mini epic tune. It's got some of that proggy stuff going on, the little bits of synths from their bass player, Mike Levine, and then, a little bit of kind of cool acoustic chords, and then thunderous heavy metal riffs and great vocals from Rick Emmett. Just a fantastic song. Fantastic song. For me, far and away their best song. And as much as I love a lot of these tunes, I think for me, Fight the Good Fight just always stood a little bit higher than some of the rest of them. So let's talk about some of my honorable mentions, why don't we? As I usually do, I kind of go through each album, so I'll start from the beginning this time. So from their self-titled debut, how about 24 Hours a Day? Good kind of chunky hard rocker. From the Rock and Roll Machine album, how about New York City Streets Part 1 and 2? Specifically Part 2. Man, is that a killer riff in that tune. Takes Time, another good kind of rock and roll tune. The City's another strong one. From the Just a Game album, how about the title track? It's a great tune. How about American Girls? ETO and the Guess Who got nothing on them, right? A good rock and roll tune. From Progressions of Power, Nature's Child. Tear the Roof Off, another good hard rocker, and Hard Road, another tune I like quite a bit. Let's go to Allied Forces. What did I forget from Allied Forces? Well, Say Goodbye. Say Goodbye is another song that, at least here in New York, got a fair bit of FM radio play, and is a really good, catchy tune. I always like that song a lot. From the Never Surrender album, how about Battle Cry? Good hard rocker there. The title track, Never Surrender. That's another really good song that probably is almost like a distant cousin to Fight the Good Fight. Really always dug Never Surrender. And When the Lights Go Down, great heavy rocker. It's a tune that they played live on that tour, and I was pretty excited to hear it. From Thunder 7, a tune that I really wanted to fit into my top 10, Spellbound. I always like Spellbound a lot. I think it's got just great vocal harmonies and hooks, and it's heavy. Time Goes By is great. Killing Time I like a lot. From the Sport of Kings and Surveillance, I like the least out of all the Rick Emmett albums. But Sport of Kings has Tears in the Rain, which I always really dug. And of course, they're a pretty big hit, Somebody's Out There. That's catchy as all hell, right? It's a good tune, just a really good song. And from Surveillance, Never Say Never, I always really dug. And All the King's Horses is a pretty underrated tune. And not to forget, from their live album, their Stages album, that tune Mind Games, they had a couple studio tracks on that album. I really always liked Mind Games a lot. Really great Gilmore vocal on that. It's kind of a driving rocker. Dug it, pretty commercial. So those are my honorable mentions. Let's run down the top 10 one more time. Number 1, Fight the Good Fight. Number 2, Allied Forces. Number 3, Lay It on the Line. Number 4, Follow Your Heart. Number 5, Magic Power. Number 6, Hold On. Number 7, A World of Fantasy. Number 8, I Live for the Weekend. Number 9, Blinding Light Show / Moonchild. And number 10, Rock and Roll Machine. So for all you folks who keep saying that I don't like to include hits in my top 10s, obviously that ain't the case here, right? Hey, I put them in there when I love them, right? I never once said that I don't like hit singles, because I like a lot of them, but sometimes I like the deep album cuts better. It's just the way I am. So here, a lot of those more hit tunes, though, are undeniable. So yeah. Triumph, Canadian power trio extraordinaire. Let us know your favorite 10 Triumph songs in the comments and feedback below. I'm happy to take a look at them, and we'll see if we have any similarities here in our list. So in the meantime, visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube. Very, very often. We got lots more top 10 shows coming up. A couple of you have asked for Budgie. I'm going to do that. Got a Sabbath one coming up. Man, my list is lengthy, so I'm going to get to them as quickly as I possibly can. More deep cuts on classic albums coming up. Got a new product showcase show coming up, because of course we want to talk about this bad boy right here. I have some other stuff I want to show you and talk about. So that's all coming up in the days and weeks ahead. So stick around. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.